Grady A.
Hey, run that thing up.
Nah, but listen to me. The thing is if he shows out in the finals and they still lose, he can still be up there.
The Frenchman up there talking his language. We need to get this stop. No, it's you, and I still.
Grady A.
In the East, Philly zero.
Yeah, can they get the second round? Can the get to
Hey, run that thing up.
What's good, YouTube family? What's good, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Grade A Show. I got Musa here. I got Lou. Clips is also here. We got a couple other guests. Some guests you haven't seen for a while. Coming up here pretty shortly, but we're gonna get started. What is that?
That's a lead.
Fernando with a comment.
That's R&B artist.
What up, Fernando?
Fernando, what's good, my guy, man? Appreciate you for being here and continuing to tune in with us, man. Everybody watching, continue to like the show. Continue to subscribe if you haven't already, to continue to help us grow. Real quick, before we get started,
Is that who I think it is?
who's that?
Oh, shit.
What up?
Hold up.
My boys, what's going on?
T,
What
what's good,
up?
man?
Hi, how you doing? But let's get straight to it.
Let's-
You've been
let's-
ducking me.
I'm here.
You've been ducking me.
One minute, Musa. One
He
minute.
said
One minute.
ducking.
One minute.
Man.
Real quick,
Show
before,
up.
before we get to T's case, because there's a lot of stuff we got to catch up with T Top.
Mhm.
So 100 men versus one gorilla. Who y'all got?
I don't know why people even
Got
debate
100
this.
caskets.
I got the gorilla, bro. We not gonna go there, bro.
I got 100 caskets.
Exactly.
If they're able to have any.
I'll be the 100th man. And then after 99 of y'all get passed on, I'm ducking. See ya.
I'll go mind my business.
I mean, my standpoint on it. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it could just be any 100 men. I think it has to be a specific 100 men, but I think it's possible.
So
But-
no, hear me
Hell-
out. People
hell
are
no.
taking the people are taking this right and believing it's supposed to be one gorilla fighting 100 people at one time. The original was you can line 100 men up with one gorilla and the gorilla is going to win.
Line them up one by one.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Well, if that's the original take, then one by one, yes, I have the gorilla. But if we could
Absolutely.
go like 10 to 15 at a time,
Bum rush the gorilla
I got some
with some
faith.
strategy, maybe.
Well, I'm telling you, even if you
Only you
bump
winning if
100
you shoot that mug.
about the reason why I say the gorilla wins is because we're supposed to come out 100 man strong. Regardless of how you put it, somebody dying.
You have
Hey, shout
to. If you have guns and stuff, then that's your best
Oh,
chance.
that's
If
a different, that's a
you-
different
if
story.
you're trying to go in there and combat a gorilla who is
on one
300
gorilla.
times your power, no.
Yeah, if we talking 1v1, I mean, good luck. But let's get to the show, y'all. Let's get to the show. As y'all see down below, we damn near there to round 2. We got 2 game 7s left to go. And
Can't wait.
we got a lot of uncertainty moving forward with the Lakers, but we'll get into them a little bit later on and stuff. T Top, welcome back to the show, my guy. How you been, man?
I'm all right, man. Just, life been lifing, but we still here,
I hear that, man. I know last time we had you on here, we was talking about Dallas and Luka's gone now. And
You was talking
the
out
A,
of
NFC
a
is
lot of things
over.
happen. A
There's
lot of things
things
happened to that team. Yeah,
Yeah,
my
man.
finals prediction was Dallas Celtics, but Nico Smith had to mess that up and bring in
Nico
AD
Harrison?
and a lot of
Yeah.
things. Sorry, Nico Harrison. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. I think Dallas will definitely be back in the mix next year. After Kyrie gets back from his major injury, that's probably in January. I think I heard his return date, but
possibly.
I think they'll be good once they like fully get it together. And it's really just wait and see for Dallas right now. I wish the trade didn't happen, but it is what it is.
T-Top, man, I gotta ask, did you win your other fantasy league?
Oh,
I
yeah.
did
How
not.
did you,
Look at
how
you.
did you do?
Look,
What did you do?
I have
Look at
receipts.
you.
I got receipts because he was talking out of pocket to the
Bro.
back-to-back champ.
bro, injuries
Who got-
happen in my
got
other
smoked
team.
by me, by the way.
Imagine, did you take me out?
Not this year. I took you out the year before the
Nah, I
championship.
took you out this year, T.
Yeah, you went out first
Oh
round.
man.
Cancun.
Son of
Listen,
a-
I don't like
Miami.
how there's like unlimited transactions. Like that gotta stop because
We making excuses.
literally day by day you could swap out 10 players. Like what is that?
I mean,
Oh,
that's the
now
whole
here's-
point.
here's-
We're playing
here's the
fantasy
excuses.
basketball.
Everyone's
gonna have
team
a
is
lot-
hurt.
I'm not gonna have a lineup
Okay.
with 6 injured dudes, and I can't freaking gain any points.
Yeah,
I'm
like,
just
I
an
had-
automatic loss.
Over half my roster got hurt towards the second half.
So
of the season.
every day somebody could push out 10 players playing every day.
Yo,
Hey,
that's
man.
What's up
GM
with that?
mode, bro.
You got like we pushing out key players. We out here getting Bruce Browns
Oh
and
my
stuff who barely get rotation minutes.
Oh,
All right. All right.
it's
I'll know for next
hold
year.
on. You've been gone for so long, and that's your excuse why you got your ass whooped because of transactions.
Bro, I can't keep up. Bro, I'm in 4 leagues. So I can't keep up with like this league to push out 10 players every day from Monday to Sunday.
you're right,
Like
Chris.
I would
We out
have to
here
be
giving
like
out
locked
donations.
in to this league by itself. You know
Hey.
what? How about this? Let's put some bread up.
You gonna lose that too.
Make me focus. Make me lock in.
I don't think the people that we
T-Top,
play
see,
with.
this is the issue I be having with y'all. In
I
a
don't think the
great, in
people
a
we
funny
play
way.
with is for
Y'all be talking out y'all neck, and they got all excuse in one when y'all got your ass whooped. I don't start these things. Y'all do.
Okay.
You
Okay.
Ace, y'all started
Okay.
this in the draft.
I'm
Now
just
I got the
saying,
last laugh.
If you're in
Motherfuckers
3
know
other leagues,
transactions.
okay.
But by the
I'm
way,
just
I
saying,
didn't
if you're in
even-
3 other leagues for money, which league you gonna pay more
you
attention
didn't
to,
win. You didn't win no league, so that's the
bro?
You didn't
Oh
win
my
T.
God.
You didn't win no money, nothing.
Huh?
You didn't take second,
Mm,
third, fourth.
Didn't even make the play-in.
Because I know in those leagues how we used to do it was
listen,
you
make the
came in
play-in.
top 3.
I
you
had a
still
lot
get
of bad luck. Imagine having a team with Zion, Luka, and just Zion and Luka by itself is already a mess. It's already a mess for me.
I had
Your
Zion,
draft,
And then I had
I'm asking folks.
Vucevic, who was like sitting for like 10, 15 games. I don't know what Chicago was thinking. And then PJ Washington got injured. It was just a mess. But
Listen, I went through the
Anyways.
same thing every other night. It's either RJ Barrett or is it Jakob Poeltl. They was over taking turns getting DMPs. I hear your excuses. The
okay.
beautiful part is we all dealt with it. And guess
Did you
who
win,
came out on
Musa?
top?
Did you win it? You
Yes,
did?
I did.
Okay.
Like I told you I was
Alright.
gonna do.
All right.
Like that.
I give you props.
Yeah,
Let's-
I take my props. That's what I do. Like
Yeah,
again,
I
you
Look at his head is gassed now. His head is gassed. Why we start the show like this?
because you
Also
been
had
had
to get it
I
off.
had to get my get back. I've been calling you out. I've been
to
calling
get
you out.
I bet.
we gotta allow
Nah,
Musa-
Good
man,
shit.
happy-
Good shit,
happy-
though. Good
happy
shit,
back, though. Nah, I just wanted to troll a little bit.
Nah,
Nah, I'm glad you back, man. Let's get into it.
Let's get to it, man. Let's start off with the 2 round 7s, man. We got Clippers and Nuggets tonight for Ace. Shut the hell up.
Is that Ace?
Yeah,
Why is he not on? What the hell's wrong with him?
That's a great question.
exactly. Let's get to Clippers and Nuggets, man. Game 7 tonight. Well, first, out of all the series, because I know we've been gone for like 2 weeks. I guess with anybody else want to get anything off their chest? I know Lou was rocking with Detroit. K didn't get what was it, most improved player of the year?
Rightfully so.
Yeah, man. I think the league is just trying to make up for not giving Dyson Daniels player of the year, man.
I don't think he
That's
should
all
have won
that
it. It should have been
Cade
Zubac.
deserved that. Hands down. Everybody's seen it. So I'm gonna leave that like it is.
Cade's
Zubac
a
was a
Hooper
good
Hooper.
contender, but he would have been runner up.
I will
blank
say
period.
this: players like Cade, and we said this before we was going over the awards in past
46.
episodes. What he's doing now is phenomenal. But
Yeah.
to be honest, I expected him to do this last year had he had the right team around him and a coach that wanted to be there. So yes, he made an improvement, but is it a vast improvement to where he should have won the award compared to someone that went +6 on his points increase, led the league in deflections, steals, and stocks, like a complete increase in everything, or like Zubac, who was top 5 in double doubles, one of the better defensive rim protectors in the league that improved. He was the defensive hog on that Clippers team as far as the back end. Like,
I feel like
we expected Cade to have this jump, given him having a comparable coach that wanted to be there. At least 100%. I expected it. So that's why I was like, if he'd have won it, sure, but I wouldn't have given him the vote because I expected it. It's kind of like when John Morant got the award, when it clearly should have been Desmond Bane who would have won it that year.
And I feel like all that the most improved awards needs to go to like those, back end players a little bit. Just to spread it out a little bit more. I ain't taking nothing away from Cade, but I think Musa brought it up last time, was just saying like, this is kind of what we know what Cade can bring to the table. We know that this is what he could do. It's just he's healthy. He's here for a full season. Detroit is actually successful with doing so, and he has pieces around him that's kind of like enhancing it a little bit more. But we always known that Cade could provide this type of stick.
My question is why Zubac then if he's always had those same pieces around him?
He wasn't as featured in the offense.
I mean, but is that really Cade's fault or is that Zubac's fault for not being as versatile? Because I mean,
that's kind of the point I was making. Along with him not being featured in the offense as much, and him
like
improving. What was that?
I say he's like your traditional big like Steven Adams, but at the same
he's better than that. Because that's what I was about to say. Because if you look over Zubac, right, he's improved in almost all areas. Rim protection was always there. He was always a solid rim protector. He's improved on that. He's improved his ability to hedge and shot and show on the pick and roll. Something that Steven Adams doesn't do. Hence, when we talk about last night's game, Golden State was attacking that particularly against Steven Adams in the pick and roll, especially when they had swapped with Curry on him. So Zubac has improved on that. He's also improved on his ability to score around the rim, and he added the floater to his game. So, and when you look at his plus minus on and off the court for that defense, it's a tremendous gap compared to how good they play without him on the court. So all those things play a role. Plus, the team is different from the few years he was there prior. Paul George was there. Russ was there. Harden, all of those dudes was there. So many mouths to feed. His role was not as keyed in on him trying to be a scorer around the rim and get more touches as it is this year.
God damn.
Yeah, a lot of things. I mean, just looking at the bracket here, we're damn near there, man. Let's anything else from the first round you guys kind of want to nitpick at?
I think the best two series was the Knicks and Pistons, along with the
Nuggets
Clippers
and
Rockets.
Clippers.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. Clippers and the
Nuggets.
Those are the two best series I had fun watching.
I agree. They don't like each other.
Damn, Jalen Brunson. We deserved the game 7 out of that series, but it is what it is,
sure.
man.
And we're not going to say one game determined that whole series because they were already down 2-1 before they lost that game in game 4. So I'll give you that much credit, but we're not going to act like game 4 did not also play in a key component into them really winning the series as well. One game didn't decide it, but it also made it like impossible for. It's not too many things that come back down from 3-1 to win the series. So I will say that. And the past 2 games, Brunson was lights out on both ends of the floor, getting his team involved and getting the points, getting his getting players in foul trouble, especially Thompson, who's pretty much the best defender in the East, if you ask me.
And then Mikal Bridges woke up, which Mikal, I think, dropped 25 last game.
You might have heard what
pretty consistent this
they
series.
said. They gave up 5 picks for you, man. If you don't do nothing, you got to go.
He's
Gotta
been pretty
go.
consistent for them this series. I will say, actually, the last 2 games, Brunson struggled, especially particularly in the fourth quarter and his efficiency. But we already know if you watch Brunson, efficiency is always going to be out the window. He's not known to be the most efficient guard, but he has led
Yo,
the
he took
league
33 shots, Musa.
to get. So
It's
I
crazy.
mean, a lot of that has to do with Towns just being inept in that last game, always in foul trouble. He was cleaning glass, so I want to give him credit on the rebounding component, but he just wasn't there offensively. But yeah, Brunson struggled the last 2 games in that fourth quarter. He scored. What was that, Lou?
I said, can we acknowledge how the refs just do not want to call that hooking foul on Brunson? Like he hooks just pretty much every play, bro. Like
I think
every play,
he does get away with the hook from time to time.
not call it for nothing.
He does get away with the hook from time to time. Yeah, I would agree. But, I think he scored 7 points in the fourth quarter last night. 3 of those points came from the game-winning shot. But even that game and the game prior, he was under 10 points. Where the first 4 games, he was at lowest 12 points in the fourth quarter. So he's been carrying them in the fourth quarter throughout the series. Detroit, credit to them, they made him work for it in the last 2 games. But when you that good of an offensive player, you're gonna find ways to get the job done.
I think what was also big is Detroit, when they bring the ball down the court, everybody pretty much closed in on Cade or clouded the paint. And then when you see the Knicks come back on the other end, I guess because the Knicks have centers that can actually stretch the floor, every time Brunson goes to the paint, it's literally just one-on-one basketball. It's hardly any help. But on the opposite end, the Knicks will pretty much triple and double teaming on the help defense when anybody drove to the lane on them. And I think that has to do with Jalen Duren not being as versatile as far as his shooting. I mean, if you're not a big that can stretch the floor, they can't help. Otherwise, you leave out a valuable piece. So I think that also plays into the Knicks' strategy with Brunson being able to get his shot off a lot, is knowing that he has centers that can stretch the floor and allow them to open up the floor a little bit more so he can kind of do what he does. So kudos to that, but I think that's the next step Detroit has to take in the offseason is just developing their bigs to become better shooters instead of just pick and roll players. You got Paul Reed, that was a pick and roll player. Isaiah Stewart's a pick and roll player.
That's what they missed. Stewart being out is why they missed because he actually stretches the floor.
Yep.
What y'all think about them starting Beasley over Hardaway? Like a quick starting lineup change.
I'm not. Well, particularly for the series towards the end of the game 6, I wasn't mad at it because Hardaway was struggling offensively. But moving forward, they both will be off the bench because Ivy will probably have the 2 guard spot back once he's healthy.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, even with Ivy not being there,
probably knocked out.
Even Ivy not being there, I'm not like using that as the reason why they lost. I think the reason why they lost is inexperience, turnovers, of course, but them not having Stewart for the back ladder of the series has really hurt them. Because then you could play the double big. Because Jalen Duren did a really good job on the offensive side when it comes to the high pick and roll and his playmaking ability out the post. So not having Stewart there when you could play the double bigs with him and Duren, that way it can kind of open up the lanes for Cade because now you have to worry about Stewart being able to knock down the 3. It kind of condensed the space for them, and they was able to kind of close in on Cade.
That brings up my point about Tobias Harris as well, because you are a known vet who's known to stretch the floor with your shot. You're 6'9", 6'10", and you're able to shoot the ball, but you're shooting it at a very low percentage. You do well in the regular season, but every time it comes to the playoffs, Tobias Harris has shown us time and time again he does not shoot well, and it be open shots that he misses, and it's just like, dude, you're about 10, 12 years in the league at this point. You can't still be missing shots like this and think somebody's gonna want to like have you on their squad. You're great for morale, you're great for defense, but when it comes down to buckets, which we clearly all we need is about 12 to 15 points from somebody.
Well, he only had one bad game in the series. He didn't he played bad one game.
We know his shooting has not been his strongest capability, but it's one of his biggest assets to what he brings to a franchise. He can shoot the ball. He can catch and shoot. So as part of a back down post shooter, and he has not been doing that as well. He's been playing hell of a good defense. I give him that, but his offensive game is not what it once was.
So what do you
want him to be a spot up shooter?
That? What are you looking for him to average in a series against the Knicks? If you was to put a number on it, or you care more about the efficiency along with the points?
I think
He
he
might
was
have
saying.
he might
I
have
think he
dropped
was
off.
saying like 12 to 15 points. I think he was saying.
So, well, Tobias averaged 16 and 8 on 48% from the field, 43 from the three. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I hear his point, but Tobias wasn't the issue. I think he needed to do a little bit more considering what they were lacking when Stewart went down. But to lose point, I think he did that pretty fairly.
Yeah, you can't expect Tobias to give you 20 a game anymore.
Yeah, Tobias is just not. That's not who he is anymore. But enough of the Pistons. The Knicks are moving on. Is there anything else from the first round that kind of caught like a whoa?
Minnesota,
Thank
Ant-Man. Yo,
I heard
he has
Randall was going to
arrived.
be. I heard Randall was going to be one of the reasons why they might lose this series. Well, let me not rephrase that. I heard Randall was going to be one of the issues why they couldn't possibly get over the hump. And Randall played really well this series, so I want to give kudos to Randall. He played really, really well. But
Rudy Gobert 30 and 20 in the closeout game.
Almost 30. Yeah.
I
That's
don't know.
credit to JJ Redick for that, not playing Jackson Hayes. I know he wasn't good,
Yeah.
but you got to at least put a big out there.
I didn't expect this series to go down the way that it did. But I don't know. For me, Luka, and this has been going on for the last couple of years with him. He needs to get in shape. He just needs to get in shape. Defensively, to me, I think he's the worst probably defensive player I've ever seen in this modern day of basketball.
Have you not watched Damian Lillard before Milwaukee?
I think Damian Lillard gets a lot more effort than Luka does, and that's my thing with Luka. It's more so of an effort thing, but to hear, I think there was like before one game where he was like sleeping in the hotel room the whole time and stuff like that. I don't know if he wasn't.
I don't know where that report came from, but
as well or what, but I'm not sure. That dude needs to get in shape. I just
he does so much on the offensive end. You can't expect him to play defense too. I'm talking about for Luka.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say the Lakers never had a chance. I definitely think if things were the whole thing with the trade with Luka. Even despite the trade, I think Lakers still definitely had an opportunity to make it deep, understanding the fact that they didn't have bigs and stuff like that. But I mean, Minnesota's hungry. Anthony Edwards was hungry. Rudy Gobert had a phenomenal series, in my opinion.
He had a phenomenal game. I ain't gonna, I'm the biggest Rudy guy, but
yeah, he was okay. He was okay in the series.
That was his best game of his life in this series because he averaged like 6 and 3 throughout the whole.
Yeah, but he wasn't necessarily really needed. I mean, it was times not having to put up statistics where his presence alone meant a lot in that series for Minnesota.
That's the point. Clips and Draco and everyone made in the past when I used to argue for Rudy is he's your DPOY and he's unplayable at times. And I used to stand up for Rudy, but in this series particular, like he really was like unplayable in the early stretches of the series. And that's why I said, because I hit a Luka and everything else and all the other story. The last game particularly is on JJ Redick. And I go JJ, then the players. Reason being is you went with a small ball lineup, knowing your biggest weakness is front court depth against a team whose biggest strengths outside of obviously Ant is having a front court depth and guys that can crash the glass. I like McDaniels.
Yeah, but there was only but so much that JJ could do with that roster.
Yeah, the roster is not good.
That was over. I was about to get to is like, yeah, I hear the Luka stuff and I hear all the other slander, but to be honest, that this roster was never good. After the Luka trade,
you got Gabe Vincent and Vanderbilt coming off the bench, giving you nothing.
Especially when you rescinded the trade to get Mark Williams, who would have been really, really helpful. But overall, I don't make too much of it. I mean, the better team won. I said this after I think it was right around Easter. I sat with some family. Someone who's a Lakers fan, I was just like, I don't think Lakers are gonna win this series because of the front court. They don't have a big than that, and whenever Minnesota wants to go small, which they're still kind of big in the front court with Naz Reid at the 5 or whatever, the lane's going to open up more. And the elephant in the room that no one mentioned is Austin Reeves did not have a good series.
No, he didn't.
He sure didn't.
He was mid. He was mid.
That definitely hurt them as well. But I mean, I think for the Lakers, just got to get a big, try to get some better depth on the bench. I think they'll be fine. I think having a full offseason between Luka and LeBron can kind of help make the chemistry even better. But I'm not gonna
Yeah, I
go head
think
over heels about this too much.
I definitely think the trade for Luca was for next season, but there's the thing: if Luca doesn't take it serious, it does it's worthless. It's not going to mean anything. If he doesn't take his health serious, if he doesn't stay in shape, it's not going to mean anything next year too. They'll be in the same.
It's the American food, man.
How
That
did the
man,
Lakers
bro.
do the
He
trade for
better
Mark?
talk to
Well, look at
LeBron
Luka
and try
before.
to get
Well,
a.
look at Luka when he first got here compared to now.
Well, he needs a shot blocker behind him because in Dallas he had Gafford behind him, he had Lively behind him. You know, PJ Washington on the wing helping him out. But for the Lakers, there's nobody. Jackson Hayes is not playing. There's no Mark Williams. We can forget about him. So like, who's gonna help him when people blow by him?
You signed Alex Len for what? Which I don't. You should have just called up Dwight. I will say this: if I'm the Lakers, I'm calling up Portland. I'm testing the temperature on Robert Williams III. I know he just had surgery.
Shoot for the stars.
I'm calling them up about him.
I
I'm
mean,
calling Atlanta about
anything
Clint
is better
Capella.
than what you have right now.
I'm calling Atlanta about Clint, testing the waters on that. I'm just gonna see what I can get out of those guys. Obviously, there's other ones you can go get, but those are just the first few names I thought about as far as rim protection that T-Top mentioned.
Clips, Lou, y'all got anything on that Laker and Minnesota series?
Ant-Man the dog, man. We all know that. He bows
Yeah,
down.
he out here slaying the players that we grew up watching, man. The KD,
OG killers, right? LeBron. Steph might be next.
Anybody's been and he's kind of been on his rampage since he went to Georgia.
Hey,
One of the best freshmen.
watch your mouth, bro. Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth, T-Top.
I think Clippers
Steph might be next. Be careful. It's Ant-Man we're talking about.
To that Warriors
Watch your mouth, bro. Watch your mouth, bro. Watch your mouth, bro. Watch your mouth.
Hey, but look, Ant-Man is a dog. He's proved that time and time again. But like I said, if anybody's been following him, he's been on a rampage since he went to college at Georgia. He just had to get his foot wet in the NBA with his first 2 seasons. But he bows down to no one. He's fearful of no one. I don't know if y'all seen it, but Kevin Garnett said on the clip he compared Ant-Man to like the '84 Georgia. And so I can kind of see where he might have got that comparison. This is KG, so I ain't gonna say KG he's smoking some stuff to be, condescending. But there's a vet like that saying that about Ant-Man. We got to be some belief to it.
I ain't believing shit. Ant-Man.
Ant-Man, but what I'm saying is,
I hate comparing him to.
KG was saying is when Ant-Man come off that corner, off that screen or whatever, he's looking to put it on.
I think I mean, it's rightfully so. I think just the aura about him, the confidence in him. I mean, why not?
Because it's MJ.
I mean, nobody.
Me personally, I'm not comparing him to MJ. And I agree.
MJ at that time.
I know. Yeah. I know exactly time. I know the exact clip he's talking about because I watched it when it first came out. I used to agree, but kind of like what Ant-Man even said himself. I'm just trying to be Ant-Man. When he said that, I was like, yeah, like just let him be him. Let's enjoy him in the moment. I do. Also, we all do see the similarities from the athletic standpoint. The hang time, the physicality, the both sides of the court, and things like that. But the one thing that Ant-Man has separated himself, at least when we talk about this season, was that 3-point shot.
Yeah,
shooting 40% on 10 attempts, and then led the league in 3-pointers made. And I think he was one of the most efficient 3-point shooters this year with the amount of attempts. When you include that, I mean, I just want to give him his respect. Like he's been phenomenal this year, and he was phenomenal in the series.
And this starts from the Olympics, if you ask me, because in the Olympics he was phenomenal. You had to find a way to get your shot off with a bunch of superstars on your team while playing for your country. I think that carried on, which is a sense of pride that Ant-Man has always had in himself. And he took whatever he learned and whatever experience he got from that and compounded into an even better game, a better bag. And this season he tore it up. He might have some games where he fell up short, but I mean that's the nature of the game. Somebody got to come out on top as the winner. But he's showing y'all like every time y'all doubt him, he's gonna prove you why. And like they said, he went 0 for 11 from the 3-point line in Game 5.
I was actually about to bring that up. To one of the things that I love that he improved this year that he didn't have last year, which is why I still had Donovan Mitchell over him at that shooting guard position, was the playmaking. He has improved on his playmaking, especially out the double team. You've seen it in Game 5 where he did not score the ball well. He was inefficient, but him doing the other things, getting on the glass, getting steals, getting others involved. That was the separation I had between him and Mitchell. And now that he has improved that, the gap has closed a lot more. But yeah, that was one of the biggest things I noticed, not just in this series, but throughout the season that has improved.
I'm gonna say as well is that his biggest asset as well is making Julius Randle a player that everybody wants to play with again. I think we all know that Julius Randle has that persona like he's all for him and not for the team, and it kind of exemplifies in some of his playing. With Ant-Man, Julius got his confidence back. Julius has been a player that everybody wants to play with. He fell right into the Minnesota's organization where he is playing for the team and not necessarily for his own points or making sure he got to get his shot. He's playing within the offense. They gave him free reign to do whatever. And I think he's using his veteran leadership that he's developed up to this point and just starting to say, like, hey, bro, I'm trying to do what's best for the team. If that means I got to go out and be this aggressive, if that's what the team needs me to do, then I'm going to do it. I don't think he had that same aura with the Knicks. I don't think he had that aura with New Orleans. So
he did in New Orleans, because the point I was going to mention, I'll give Ant some credit, sure, based on just how his mentality is, but also because of Chris Finch, because he had Chris Finch in New Orleans and that connection, and that's what kind of remember when they traded him to New Orleans for Davis, and he broke out. That was a lot. A lot of it had to do with the play style and coach style of Chris Finch, helping him get to that point. So him going to Minnesota was kind of something that I didn't know until recently, was him having Chris Finch in New Orleans, which I didn't know that at that time, and him being the head coach in Minnesota definitely helped. I mean, they had their bumps because, like you mentioned, they struggled as a team in the first half of the season, but once he came back from the injury, everything's been pretty smooth sailing throughout the whole team as far as the scheme fit, production, and everything like that.
Real quick, before we get to the Rockets and Warriors series, let's make a quick prediction on the Nuggets and the Clippers tonight. Who y'all got?
I think
Clippers take it.
I think Clippers steal it. But
I got Nuggets closing it out tonight.
I'm gonna go Clippers, but I feel like if they happen to lose the game, it's gonna be due to Jamal Murray. I think Murray has a big.
I don't think he's gonna have a good game. I don't know why.
No, I'm saying I think Jamal Murray is gonna have a good game, and that's why it propels them over the Clippers tonight. I'm picking Clippers, but I'm saying if the Clippers were to lose, that will probably be the reason why. Is Murray?
I'll say make sure you clarify that before we get more.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
I think Clippers are more hungry. Norman Powell showed me something last game. I think he's going to bring that intensity again today.
He's been showing that all season.
Obviously, Harden is hungry, and Kawhi's playing like old Kobe, old version of Kobe. So,
how about old Kawhi?
Yeah, I say old Kawhi. Nice. I ain't gonna go that far.
We'll go Toronto Kawhi. I can go Toronto Kawhi.
I will say, as far as Norman Powell goes, it's just unfortunate that he got hurt at the end of the regular season, because he would have been my lock-in for most improved.
Most improved.
He would have been my lock for most
of the year.
Yeah, because he was starting most of the year. He wasn't qualified for 6-man, was he?
I think he was, because he was on and off with the bench, but he led the team in scoring.
Yeah,
because it's because of his scoring why he's better off the bench than he is starting, because you got too many stars on that first lineup which is why they offset it with Chris Dunn and Derrick Jones Jr. start, because they don't require the ball as much. They're more so defenders, and it allows Kawhi and James to kind of facilitate and make the offense what it is. But then you take either Kawhi out or Harden and bring in Powell, and it's still no lack of the progression with their points and their production. So I like Powell coming off the bench, and it doesn't take away from his minutes at all. Makes him seem like he can't go start on any other team.
But yeah, that was one of the reasons why I thought he should have been an All-Star this year too, a reserve, is because of his ability. Kawhi wasn't there most of the season. He was the second option comfortably, and he was leading the team in scoring. It was a big improvement. I'm not surprised he was putting out the output he was doing, because if you watched him, he always was one of those guys that was like a microwave kind of guy who can get going very quickly. And he showed up typically in the biggest moments in games when you see him in Toronto and things of that nature. But yeah, just want to give him a shout out.
Clips. So you got the Nuggets and Clippers tonight.
Clips is taking the Clips.
Clips got the Clips. All right, I'll let you kick it off, my brother. The Rockets and the Warriors series. Where you at? Where you at with that series? How you feeling, man?
I'm never wavering. I'm gonna ride a Warriors fan. I've been riding them all year. Paul, so did he? I'm riding with them. I'm sticking with them. I got Warriors in 7, man. I honestly believe we could have won last night, going into the 4th down 2, and we just couldn't make shots. Like, that's just literally what it was. I think halfway through the 4th, we just kind of got settled in shooting threes instead of just taking the quick 2s, trying to get fouls, slow the clock down, you feel me, and get to the line. So yeah, I'm going Warriors in 7. Shout out to them Houston boys. I mean, they played somewhat decent. I mean,
that's a backhanded compliment.
I mean, I'm going off the last game. I mean, it's not. I mean, they played well enough to only be up 2 points at the start of the 4th. If we hit shots, it's a different game. And we had wide open looks. We just wasn't converting. We lost the total rebound battle by, I believe, 2 or 4 rebounds. We committed more fouls. We need to stop fouling unless we hack in Steven Adams. And shout out to him for hitting his free throws. But yeah, we just turned the ball over a little bit too much. A little bit of miscommunication between Draymond and Steph at times when running the off-ball plays, which caused a lot of their turnovers. Steph had 5, and we just couldn't hit shots. If we hit some of those shots, those looks, and halfway through the 4th when we were still down 15, and we started going for 2s and we cut it to 10 again, I'm like, all right, we can keep this momentum. But we just kept the same shit going, running the slip off balls for Curry and trying to get the open 3, and we just wasn't. And I mean, Pajinski gave up a wide open layup to kick it to Jimmy Butler for 3. We got the rebound, and Jimmy stepped back, pound dribble, step back, and shot another 3. Like, it's things like that to me in those moments where we need to take the 2 and to cut the lead down. Shout out to MA for pulling the trigger on the 2 big man lineup. That is a key in why they are in the game and why they are winning. And Fred VanVleet, last 2 games, I've been shitting on him all year because to me, I just don't think he's like that. But the last 2 games just were key to show, like, okay, this is what they paid you for. So I'm happy that he's finally waking up.
As a veteran.
As a vet.
Toronto Fred VanVleet?
Yeah, he's been cooking the last 3 games.
I'll say, yeah, like last 2.5. And then, I mean, Jalen Green, we've had him under wraps. He's kind of been locked besides that 1 game. And then
say that one more time for Lou. No, Clips, go back to that Jalen Green. Say that one more time for Lou.
Besides game
Mr. Top 10.
Besides game 2, he's been under wraps. That boy been painting his nails, but we're not worried about him.
Damn.
Segun is Segun.
Jalen Green was on someone's top 10.
You've been going for a while.
Yeah, we'll touch
wait.
We'll touch that in a second. Let's touch that in a second.
Go ahead,
I want to stand up and get out of here.
Yeah, like I said, I got Warriors. I got Warriors in 7. I just don't think we have 3 bad games of shooting the ball back to back. Like, game 5 and like game 5. That was just bad, and Rockets got hot early. Game 6, we had last game. I really liked it. Our odds going into the 4th down 2. But I feel like we just halfway through with the 6-minute mark. Shout out to Reggie Miller. He said it's hard to play. It's harder to play down 15 with 5 minutes than it is with 6.5. Like, so we needed to pick it up and find a way to just score the bucket, get to the line, instead of just settling for 3s. But Also, I heard Steve Kerr talking about playing Kaminga. People are saying that they should have been playing him. People, I just want y'all to understand, bro. Kaminga is a great athletic talent, right? But IQ and when he's out there, it just don't work. Do I think Kaminga is going to be beneficial next game, game 7? No. I really feel like we need to play Trace Jackson Davis. We need to get another good screener out there. I like Post, but he's not it when it comes to guarding Segun. Like, he's just a little too slow off the feet for me. I would like get Trace back out there because he is actually an undersized rim protector that actually can defend. Especially when Draymond's in foul trouble. So y'all can have it after that.
Yeah, T-Top. Lou had Jalen Green in his top 10.
This is regular season at this point when I said that, and then this is also when he went through like a 6-7 game span of 27 or more.
It was before that. Because you showboat when he was on
Don't,
that.
don't do
I got
that.
receipts.
Was it like top 10 Rockets players or in the NBA?
Top 10 shooting guard currently this season at that time is what I said.
You said shooting guard.
Now it's shooting guard.
As soon as I said that, he went like 7-8 games with like 27 or more. And granted, I understand what everybody's saying. He's kind of up and down. He ain't been showing up much in this playoffs at all. But I'm not going to disrespect and say like he hasn't had one of the biggest impacts on the Rockies being what they are. It's him and Sengun, and then it's their supporting pieces. But yeah,
name him Amen Thompson.
Like, oh yeah, for sure. Ben Thompson definitely soared and made him a valuable piece. But before this was like a man's breakout season, if you ask me. A man broke out this season and showed why he was drafted where he is, why he deserves to be in that starting lineup, and eventually why he's going to be the man of that team. And I think eventually they might end up trading Jalen Green and making a man literally the center focus of their team. And they probably giving him an extension before his rookie contract is out. And he's definitely going to get a max because you don't see nobody like a man Thompson besides his brother in the league.
Yeah.
I had Jalen Green as a top 10 shooting guard in the league because he was playing better than Devin Booker.
Shooting guard?
It wasn't shooting guard, Lou.
Yeah, shooting guard.
I'm gonna get the clip.
If it was top 10 players, then yeah, that's what I said. I thought I said shooting guards, but if it was top 10 players, I definitely said that. And this playoff is showing me that I was wrong.
Yo, hit me up after the show so I can smoke what you smoking because that shit is fire.
I can see if you had him in the top 10 at his position, sure. But Peso, every time someone new going, Peso always clarifies and says top 10 players in the league right now.
Okay. Well, if that's what he said, and at the time, that's what I said. So
hey, and I love it. He's like, I'm standing on it. I'm riding with my dog.
Hey.
I stand on it, man.
I was gonna have to dig deep and get the clip out.
K being first team.
Same thing I said about Cade, and I don't see us bringing that up.
I literally just said it. That's
you said it, but then look how you was early when I brought up Cade in those early episodes.
At the first team, I was like, I didn't, because I still at the time, I believe I still put.
I had Cade as an All-NBA
had Cade in the last spot.
Cade should definitely make an All-NBA team.
I'm not
no,
mad,
that we all agreed on.
I wouldn't go first team.
I remember when Luke first brought it up, it was first team, and I had pushback. I think Pat was playing well at the time, and then you had Mitchell, who probably would get the first team nod, and the last spot would be Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, I was big Cunningham, man. So I'm one for one.
Hit me after the show, Lou. Just hit me up, all right?
But
I'm switching my pick, man. Given how this series went down, I got the Rockets closing it out. I think the Warriors just let them back in it, and I'm going with the Rockets, man. Who y'all got?
It wouldn't be the first time they blow a 3-1 lead, but I'm still going with my initial pick, Warriors in 7. So
I know
Clips gonna go 7. So I'm keeping it that way. Curry's gonna have a big game. The Rockets made Cannon sad last night. Curry going for 40.
T-Top, what you got?
I would like to see the Warriors advance just to see Ant-Man take Steph Curry out just for the storyline. But I honestly deep down think the Rockets are taking it. They have life in them now. Amen Thompson's defense has been impressive to me. I like him stealing the ball from Curry and just that full court press, and the defense intensity just overall for the Rockets has gone another level. So I think they're going to take it. I think Warriors are too small, and yeah, Fred VanVleet with the shooting, he's been shooting lights out. So
my fear with
I think they got it.
Oh, go ahead.
Mhm. No, you good.
My fear is he had 3 great games. Can he do it for one more game tomorrow? That's my fear. And can Jalen Green actually show up outside of game 2? Now, I agree and disagree with Clips as far as I think Kuminga playing can help them a little bit, but I also agree with him as far as Jackson Davis should be playing. I think put him out there, someone that's a little bit more mobile on the pick and roll, who can help on the glass. I think he'll be viable for them too. And I actually want to give credit to this person here because I remember we was talking about trading this man, and now he was probably their 3rd best player, and that's Pods. There was a lot of talk that Pods got traded, but Pods been balling, especially since Jimmy got there.
It's not always a bad thing. It just kind of means you add value to your play as a player as well, because not all players that get traded are bad players. When they get traded.
But no, I agree. But the way the way Pods was being talked about, along with him being traded, is why I want to give him credit because he's been having those in the media eat crow because he's been really good this series, especially since Jimmy got there.
If the Warriors are going to make it, the Pods and Jimmy need to have great games.
I will say this: whoever wins, regardless of our picks, it should be a great defensive matchup next round because Minnesota's a good defense. We already know what the Rockets were all year when it comes to their defense. And Golden State, since Jimmy has been one of the best, if not the best defenses in the league since the trade. So we know what we're going to get next series as far as a defensive side of the ball. So I'm all for it when it comes to that.
And we get to see Draymond Green and Rudy Gobert go at it again. Chokeholds.
I don't want
Go ahead, Lou.
I think they have the juice to make it through another 6-7 game series for the second round because they are not that experienced. So if the Rockets do win against the Warriors, I just don't see them putting up much of a fight in the next round series. This is why I kind of want the Warriors to win. I'm not saying the Rockets are not going to battle. What I'm saying is they haven't been this far in the playoffs in a while. So to kind of expect them to go through a 7-game series in the first round, then possibly go to 5 or 6 in the second round and then come out on top of that, it's not that it can't happen, but with the squad that they have, with the inexperience that they have, I don't see it being likely. It can always change. They could come and beat the Warriors and then go toe-to-toe with the Wolves as well. But I just don't see them like going 7 games and then going another 6 or 7 to win in the next round. Now, if you have to do it, you have to do it. But I think the Warriors have a better shot of going 7 games this round, 7 games next round, and possibly 7 games in the Western Conference Finals, and still being okay with enough juice to put up a decent fight without getting blown out. So
I'm not mad at that take, but to be devil's advocate, I would say that was the same thing being said about this first round matchup. We have Warriors in 5s. Some people had Warriors in 6. And I'm not talking about just us up here. I even heard Warriors sweeping them. Like I picked the Warriors. Wow. I picked the Warriors in 7 due to the experience, especially a game 7 like magnitude experience. But if the Rockets get over the hump, I think they have a great chance against Minnesota because of their defense, along with Ime Udoka. They have adopted that mentality. And the beautiful part is Steven Adams is going to play a lot more in the next round because you have like a Rudy. So you can match him up with Rudy, and the double big lineup can play effect there too, depending on how you match up against Minnesota, because they might have Randall at the 4, and I'm not sure how well that could work again for Sengun.
Randall will be at the 4.
But yeah, I think they have a great chance if they find a way to get out of this first round matchup like with the Warriors. But I don't know if we're gonna talk about them, so I'm gonna real quick shout out to my Garden boys, handling business against Orlando. I said 6, Peso said 5, so I give Peso credit. He was a lot higher on this matchup than I was. But yeah, shout out to the Garden boys. I don't know if we're gonna spend much time on that, so I just want to give a shout out to my.
I didn't really plan on talking about at least the first round. I wanted to kind of talk about that more with the Knicks. But Lou, what's your pick on Rockets and Warriors?
Given my take that I just said, I'm gonna just go Warriors just because I think they got the juice to make the playoffs a little bit more interesting, even with Minnesota as the next round contender. Like I said, Rockets still got a good team and all. They just missing one more piece, I think. And maybe that's just Jalen Green got to get this experience him or Jabari Smith. Shout out to Jabari Smith as well because he's been doing just as good as anybody can expect with him not being a first, second, or third option. But like you said, Steven Adams, we all knew what he was capable of. He hasn't really played in damn near 2 years due to injury. I think him coming back has been monumental for Minnesota because now they kind of have a veteran leadership in that front court. They're kind of like, hey, settle down. I got this. I'm going to have y'all back. I'm going to get the blocks. I'm going to do the dirty work. I just need y'all to have confidence in your own game, and I think Steven Adams provides that for the Rockets. But ultimately, I just think Golden State just have too much more experience on their end to kind of prevail over this game. So I got the Warriors going tonight.
Cool. Let's get to the second round, y'all. Even though we don't, we'll wait till next episode to cover the West to see what happens within the next 2 days with these game sevens. But let's start off. We got Cleveland and Indiana. Second round, I believe, is kicking off this weekend.
Tomorrow.
How y'all feeling about that series?
I think this series can go 6 or 7.
What
I
you
haven't
got,
put much thought in it, but-
Cat play?
That's
To be honest, I think
I like Pacers low key.
I'll probably go Cavs in 6 or 6.
And I agree with you. I would go leaning towards 7. I just think I haven't really, thought about this that series too much either. But I definitely think Indiana, they've been together for the last couple of years. I mean, of course, without Siakam, but I think they're just gelling a little bit better. I just think they're coming with better energy, coming with better health this season. They're gonna put up a tough fight with Cleveland. I don't think it's gonna be that easy.
They prove it the naysayers wrong too, because I including myself at times, I thought that was a one-off as far as them potentially going back to the ECF. But given how the seating is, they very well can be back in the ECF. So
to be honest, I mean, given how last series went down, given the level that Hallie's playing right now in the playoffs,
Right.
I'm leaning towards Indiana in 7 games. I low key think it's gonna be a rematch from last year's series with Boston and Indiana. I think Cleveland's gonna. I don't think it's gonna be an upset, but I think Indiana's gonna get them.
I just like Cleveland's front court. I think that's gonna be the difference.
Yeah.
Right. Miles Turner, Siakam versus Mobley and Jared Allen.
I think it's gonna be a
Mobley got some work to do.
It's gonna be a
Mobley got some work to do. Right. I do think Cavs sneak with it in 7 games, though. I think Donovan Mitchell and Garland's going to be a little too much for Nembhard and Halliburton. So
I don't know. A little too much. I don't know.
Hey, I was going to say, how do y'all feel about Kyle Anderson's comments about how Cleveland played better without Garland for those 2 games? I know that was kind of talked about online, how he mentioned that the biggest difference in Cleveland's play was he said they look better without Garland. They moved the ball.
I ignored it. That's just you just mad you got some. You should be worried about not getting smacked by 50.
Is that really being hating though? Because he had plenty of time to watch from the sideline to observe. So I mean, we call
Kyle Anderson.
Kyle Anderson. He said that they played better without Garland, and obviously it showed in both games. They won by significant points. So I mean, is he completely off or is he just hating?
I didn't pay much mind because I feel like you should be worried about not losing by 50. So,
and Garland's like another offensive playmaker that you want on the floor, because Jared Allen's not, creating his own shot. Mobley can, Donovan can, but you want another playmaker out there just taking the load off of everyone else. So I think he's going to be crucial in this series. Cavs in 7.
Clips.
To be real,
go ahead.
Indiana win, y'all, they need to unban Halliburton's dad because that's gonna spark a whole lot of intensity for this moving forward, man. After what he pulled,
Yeah, they
granted,
didn't need to ban him. They didn't need to ban him. That's fucked
Why
up.
not?
I mean, you got to because any other man would have been banned for life and arrested right then and there.
I'm about to say
So
any other person that got their ass knocked out.
He's a regular person, citizen, just like everybody else watching that game. It doesn't excuse him to get on that court and do what he did.
him, and then I think Indiana gets sparked up. They team gets sparked up by seeing him on the bench moving forward. It might be a distraction given what he did with Giannis and all, but that's that fuel you need going into your next series. And to ban him from those games is, I would say, do it next season, but also like while monitoring him at a close length, at arm's length, keep him close. But his aura now is all going to transcend between Indiana's game. It makes Halliburton go harder. It makes the Indiana Pacers play a little bit harder.
Indiana's a very clean, clear-cut organization. So any type of dysfunction of any type.
But the game was over. The game was over. You know what I mean? Giannis should be finding his way to the exit. Why you ass standing there? I understand. Like,
I mean, he was
like
dapping up
shocked.
other players from Indiana. Good game.
I mean, not Lou. I'm sorry, T-Top. The
that
buzzer
game barely
didn't sound yet.
I see he really walked in Giannis's face. Giannis
Thank
could've-
you, Lou. Yeah,
Giannis
like,
could have Artest his ass, and then Woody would have been calling Giannis.
Exactly.
yeah, like the
Exactly,
buzzer
yeah.
didn't sound yet. The time was still running
Giannis
off.
didn't even move. That's the crazy part. As soon as the game was over, Giannis stood still. This man walked on the court, walked past Giannis,
Waving
Last-
the towel in his face. Y'all just
Child,
looking at him
said
like,
Giannis and said, "This is what we do, motherfucker. This is what we do."
What happened?
I don't
what
think it's that
happened,
deep. I don't think it's that deep.
What happened between the whole Giannis and Mathurin situation? Why did that?
I don't know. It seemed like Giannis just
I don't know.
stunned him. You see the way how he gripped the back of that man's head?
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah, I would like he was a baby.
what's good with you?
Benedict
dude?
must be like, yo, dude, get your hands off me.
I would've
Like,
Hey, I tell you this: ain't nobody wants smoke with James Johnson. Y'all better leave that man alone.
Of course, why would they? That's a third-degree black belt.
But, yeah. Clips.
He punched
Uh,
it's over.
Clips. You got anything on this series? Cavs and Pacers.
I'm going Cavs in 6. To be honest, I feel like Evan Mobley is gonna have a very key series. This key matchup this series that he's gonna propel to, and Donovan Mitchell is just gonna be Donovan Mitchell. I honestly feel like Hallie's not stopping Donovan, and neither is Nembhard.
yeah.
That's just gonna be what that is. But it's gonna be on Jared Allen and Evan Mobley to carry out this series. And I feel like they could do that. I feel like along with Cleveland's depth, even though Indiana has good depth as well too, I just feel like the Twin Towers back there of Evan Mobley and Jared Allen will play a key. And I also feel like Miles Turner will be put in foul trouble, which will also play a key factor.
Cool. Let's get to the next and last one we got so far: Celtics and Knicks.
Knicks in 7.
Okay.
I'm trolling.
I was like, you want to provide some context with that? What y'all rocking with? Go ahead, Clips. What you rocking with?
I got Boston in 6.
Same.
I
Boston.
want to be respectful and say Boston is 6 too.
Be respectful.
Because I would easily say 5 games tops, but after seeing them battle with Detroit the way they did, then I'll give them 6 games.
I said 6.
They got a little physical.
Drew Holiday's health is in question with that hamstring. Which is
doesn't
fine,
matter.
which is fine because now that we haven't played without him before.
Yeah.
But the reason why I'm bringing it up is because now you're gonna have more minutes for Pritchard, and Pritchard he's gonna be pesty, but he's not a defender. So they're gonna try to exploit that a lot in the pick and roll. Just like they're gonna most likely try to exploit Horford and Porzingis in the pick and roll. More so Porzingis, just like Orlando did when they had the one-on-one matches with Franz. So I could see that being the case. And the biggest difference for New York to have a chance in this series will be Cat. Cat has to show up consistently, which I believe he has the ability to do so. He has to stay out of foul trouble. That's going to be the biggest chance for the Knicks to win because even if Mikel's giving you 20, OG probably could do the same. most likely will do the same. They're gonna have to find ways to stop Tatum and Brown. And given the track history, we know at least when it comes to Mikal Bridges, he ain't stopping Tatum. Tatum's averaging like 33 against him in around that and against the Knicks in the regular season.
I think
So I expect Tatum to do what he does. I expect this to be a physical series. I expect New York to try to come out and play how Detroit played against them, be physical, kind of like Orlando tried to do. But I mean, I think I think Tatum and Brown and the Garden Boys are going to be just too much for New York.
I have the same take that I had for last series with the Celtics. Until the Knicks prove me otherwise and actually beat Boston this year, I'm not going to go on a sweep. I just don't think it's going to be a sweep series. But the
It'll
Knicks
be
haven't
nice,
beat
but-
Boston.
We'll drop a game.
I'm gonna go 5 games. And I agree, Musa. I think Cat's gonna make the difference. Everything you hit the nail on the head. I think from a defensive standpoint, if Cat can
Move his feet.
yeah, just to sum it up, just be a
You know
better
they're attacking him on pick and roll.
be a better defender. Everybody else on the Knicks is gonna do what they do. I just don't think it's gonna be enough. Celtics, like you said, even with Holiday being out, I still think it's just the next man up. And the next man up, we're talking about Pritchard. The next man up, we're talking about Hauser.
Derek White.
Derek, the guys like
he
those,
goes what said though. We know how.
we know what Boston brings to the table. So the Knicks just don't have enough, and it looks like they have enough, but they still don't. Boston just has too much, and I think what you said about Tatum and Brown is true. They're in a way deeper element than what they have been last year, what they have been the last couple of years, and I don't think the Knicks is going to be able to stand a chance. The games might be close, but I just
Another thing I will say is Mikal has to do a better job fighting over the screens. If you watched the majority of the games he played against Boston, when they're attacking Cat in the pick and roll, more times than not, Mikal's guarding as the POA, and he kind of dies on the screens. And why that's important, why he needs to fight over those, is because now it's going to allow Cat to be isolated, whether against Brown or Tatum. And we know that's a recipe for disaster. So I don't think that's going to be something that's going to be beneficial for New York. I believe.
Coach, my bad, Musa, but I think coaching is going to be involved too, a lot, big time.
Yeah, but I will say New York has
a big time.
a little deeper in their bench. I mean, Cameron Payne's been playing. I would say Miles Bridges. Miles McBride has been playing, so they've been using some of their pieces off the bench. So that's definitely going to be that. What is that noise?
Y'all hear that too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sound like I'm in the supermarket. That's going to be huge. What else I was going to say? I lost my train of thought.
I just don't. I respect the Knicks. I respect Jalen Brunson. He's a very, very clutch person. He won that award for a reason. But what you say, Musa? Knicks has to come out how Detroit came out against them.
Yes, I was about to say. New York has to be more physical with Boston the way Detroit was physical with them. However,
I don't think they can be that physical.
We just came from a physical series too with Orlando.
I was going to say
that wasn't a cakewalk.
But that was the point I was about to make. That was the train thought I forgot. Yeah. New York has shown that ability they can get physical with you as well. My problem, that was Boston.
Name me a players, Musa, on the Knicks team that brings that physicality.
Josh Hart, OG.
Yeah, he's number one. Josh Hart definitely number one.
OG.
After those two,
Cat won't bring it unless you bring it to him. And I don't think Porzingis is going to get under Cat's skin like that. So I don't see Cat getting physical like that.
But that's why I was going to say, to my main point that I forgot earlier that I remembered. Boston was playing against the second best defense in the league based on the defensive rating, and they were physical with Boston. And Boston was able to adapt to your point, Pace, about coaching. Joe Mazzulla and the crew was able to adapt, and they still were selling for three because that's their game. We have to accept it, whether we like it or not. But they was getting a lot of stuff to the rim too. They was taking what defense was giving them and allowing Boston to kind of play through that physicality, I think is going to be beneficial to them. I mean, Tatum, I expect him to average what he did in the first round against New York. I mean, he averaged 31 and 11 against one of the second best defense in the league. So you go against New York.
It's crazy. It's crazy too that you the whole physicality thing. You know, a couple years ago, it's kind of like Boston was one of those teams. You get physical with them, you take them out of their game real quick.
Facts.
And the experience has been there. So that's why I think, with all that being said, to make this along with the story short, Boston wins in 6 because of the experience and the physicality and being able to play through those things. This is their window because this team is not going to be like this next year. So
this is their chance to get it back to back, and this is going to be it. T, did you give your take?
Yeah, I said Celtics in 6.
Lou. Oh, go ahead.
Yep. No, yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Lou. What you got?
To me, I think this series comes down to the superstar call. We all know what that is. Your main superstars getting the little calls, the ones that don't nobody see, and all of that. I think Brunson's been very good at getting that call. I think Tatum and as well as Brown has been very good at getting that call. Getting the key defenders who's guarding these superstars and foul trouble, I think is going to be the key to deciding who kind of ultimately takes over. Mitchell Robinson, he has an advantage, but a disadvantage in this series as well. Because, like you said, Porzingis can pull him out the paint. And Cat's not going to always be in together. I don't see them doing the two big things in this series as much as they did in last series. It still could possibly work, but given that I've seen the foul situation with that Orlando and Boston series, and then the difference in the Knicks and Detroit series, I think that's ultimately what it's going to come down to: who's able to get the little petty calls, the little minor stuff. Boston's been very good at that. You got two players in Tatum and Brown who get those type of calls, but they not to say that they don't deserve them, because sometimes they do get fouled and they don't call it. It is a physical game. But I think so, like you said, when teams play more physical with Boston, they kind of like fall short. And this past series with Orlando being as aggressive, they were calling a lot of fouls, even small fouls. That kind of made it like, all right, now, what are we doing? Are we playing pity pad or what? Like, because I can't touch this man without you calling the foul. I think it's going to be the role players. It's going to be key as well. I hope that Josh Hart, Anunoby, and Bridges, those three on defense rotating against Derek White, Tatum, and Brown. If you're not going to stop them, you have to slow them down. If you can slow down how fast they get up in the first quarter, because I think that's been Boston's thing this whole year. Their first quarter has been probably better than any team in the league. They come out guns blazing, and Pritchard, I think Pritchard has, like I said, I even said that a couple of episodes ago when we were talking about him potentially winning Sixth Man of the Year. And congratulations to y'all Celtics fans for getting him that award. It was well deserved. But I think he plays the game with no pressure. That whole fun of the game where you just go out and have fun doing what you're doing best. I think that's what Peyton Pritchard is right now, which is why he's been so successful in this role this year. Ultimately, though, I still think Boston comes out on top, because I just don't know how the refs are going to be, as far as because we all know Cat is pretty much stronger than Porzingis. But when Porzingis gets that ball at the top of the free throw line and he does that back down and that fadeaway shot, he tends to get a lot of those calls as far as contesting or some type of body work. So I don't think Cat can be as aggressive on defense while guarding Porzingis, because Porzingis is significantly smaller in body mass. They tend to get him those calls and any type of aggression or any type of real defense. It's going to kind of make the Knicks fall back, and they're not going to be able to play up to their full potential in light of being called fouls on and early foul trouble for some of their main players, which you're going to rely on your backups with McBride. I think he's going to have to be huge. For the Knicks, it's going to have to be their role players. Their role players are going to be the reason that they take over and beat Boston, which I don't see that happening. Like you said,
if Tom Thibodeau even gives them minutes,
you got to give them minutes, because they're going to get in foul trouble. Your starters are going to get in foul trouble at some point, and that's the thing.
Yeah,
Boston is very
Ever since they acquired Cat, I already said it from the beginning that they're asking for a lot from him, a lot that he wasn't used to providing in Minnesota. He was just, he had that Rudy Gobert on his side, and yeah, Mitchell Robinson's there, but he's you're not going to compare them to.
Tom Thibodeau will be running his starters 42 minutes plus.
I mean, against a Boston team like this, you need to go with your best 6-7 players. So, but he has a lot more to his advantage than he did last year.
We know in the playoffs, regardless if it's Thibodeau or not, the rotation gets shorter. That's just what it is. You're not playing 10
To
guys.
tell you the truth, as a sleeper, this one I'll try to pull out PJ Tucker for defense. I think this is what he was supposed to be on the team for anyway. It's another player that don't mind taking up 4 or 5 fouls. He's went numerous games without even putting up a shot.
Damn, I forgot he was on
I
that
think
team.
this is exactly. So this is when you go into your strategy bag as a coach and as an organization, and you be like, hey, we didn't play you as much in the first series because it's not what we needed. But in the second series, we're gonna need a dog who don't mind guarding Tatum, pushing Tatum around, guarding Brown, putting some Brown around, holding Al Horford into the corner and making Al play ball. I think PJ Tucker is the perfect big to guard those 3 players that kind of hold off and give their starters a little bit more breathing time to catch their breath and to get back into the game. So it's going, like you said, it comes down to coaching. I think more so for the Knicks than Boston, because Boston, we already know what they bring to the table. The Knicks are the underdogs in this series. And this is what Thibodeau is known for as far as like he's a veteran coach. He's been in the playoffs most of the years. If he doesn't win, I'm kind of going to put him in the same boat as Doc Rivers. I'm sorry. I know Doc. The only thing you can say is he hasn't been down 3-1 or been up 3-1 and lost the series. But as far as like coaching,
I'm not
wise,
in the category where he never won a championship either as a head coach.
He's never won a championship, so that's what I'm saying. But as far as like how much hate Doc gets when the team loses a series, we're starting to put Thibodeau in that same boat, man. Because at the time again, everybody likes to make it seem like Tibbs ain't the reason why they lose. So when the Knicks lose, it's never Tibbs' fault. But whenever whatever Doc is coaching, and they lose, it's all Doc's fault. It's
No,
not the
because
team.
Tibbs got blamed last year when they lost.
I blame Tibbs last year for that. For
I heard
happened.
numerous people mention Tibbs last year.
That's why I said if they lose this series again, Tibbs goes in the same boat as far as Doc Rivers. As far as like if y'all can't win, it's because Tibbs is your coach, not because of the players.
I agree with you. I understand. Let me not say I agree. I understand why you're putting in that. The reason I'm saying I wouldn't because one, he hasn't even shown he can win as a head coach a championship. So because of that, he'll probably be in that. He'll be in the flow right below him for me. But I understand why you put him in the same room, which I'm not mad at. Like it's
also not him. It's also his assistant coaches as well, because y'all gotta have some backbone. What are y'all there for if y'all not to consult and give your opinion on what y'all think it should go down? But that's what I said. PJ Tucker, man, I think he needs to get more burn this series in order to help slow down the scoring of Boston's star players, because you're not going to stop him. You have to be able to slow them down. Tatum likes to get to his bag, which is that one-on-one on top, at the top of the key, and I think it's hard for anybody to guard. But I think PJ has the ability to take it on. Josh Hart, Anunoby, and if Mikal Bridges is only up and down, he has to be good on both sides of the ball. And you're not really
on the OKC series real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I know we haven't got to that. Whether Denver wins, I'll probably go OKC in 6. I think OKC in 6 either way, no matter who wins. Actually, as of right now, that's probably where I'm going.
If I had a quick prediction, I think OKC beats either of those teams, and I go 7 games.
You think you go 7?
Well, Denver, I would go 7. If it was Clippers, I'll probably go 6.
Yeah.
I think
okay.
Change the dynamic a little bit.
Right.
Kawhi, depending on who he's guarding out the gate, makes a difference. I don't think they immediately put Kawhi on Shea, but we also know James Harden is not going to be on Shea. I think they put Chris Dunn or James start out on Shea to kind of ease the workload for Harden and Kawhi. But I think fourth quarter wise, it's going to come down to well, Shea's going to be Shea. So if they can continue playing team ball like they've been playing throughout this whole playoff, it's going to be hard for OKC not to win the series. But if, like you said, if Denver goes, I think it goes 7 games as well. Which I got to give Denver credit. Without a head coach, and you got, the first player coach since Magic Johnson and Jokic. I think that's what's been getting them over the hump so far. Jokic is telling them who to sub in, who to get out, what plays to run. He has the clipboard on timeout. Like, we can say he's not a player coach, but I think he's officially the head coach of the Denver Nuggets at this point. Fuck the interim. It's Jokic. And he's been getting them over the hump so far. So, but OKC, I also think James Harden goes off as a comeback to OKC with the playoff atmosphere and everything, seeing how that's where he started his career. And like we said in the last,
I think we lost him.
Harden hasn't missed the playoff, but I think if he doesn't play big, then it's kind of like he's a bust because it's OKC.
And if I had a quick pick for the next one down, I think Minnesota goes. We'll see them back in the Western Conference again, regardless of whoever they play.
Yeah, they play Golden State. Oh, go ahead, T-Top. I'll let you go.
Oh, no, just to say for the previous series, I think OKC win in 7 for both as well. I was trying to see if there was any weak points, like especially in the bigs for OKC, but I mean, Chet and Hartenstein, I think they could take care of Jokic and Zubac for either team. So I think it's 7. For this Minnesota Rockets or Warriors, that's tough. I think if it's Rockets, I think Minnesota can go. I don't even know, bro. That's tough. I don't even know, to be honest. Experience with the Warriors is tough. I don't know how Rockets.
Yeah, I hope
Rockets going to go through a 7-game series. You hope Warriors beat the Wolves?
No, I'll beat the Rockets because I just want to see that next round matchup.
I think Ant could take care of the Warriors in 6 games. The Rockets probably.
The Wolves.
The Wolves will beat the Warriors in 6 games. They probably could beat the Rockets in 6 games too.
My bad. I'm multitasking. I was talking to myself. I was trying to correct you. I'm over here trying to set up for the next. We got a double header today.
I have Wolves in 6
up for the next show. My bad.
But nah,
I have Wolves in 6 for both. Yeah,
you got Wolves in 6.
I will say, if the Warriors win, against Minnesota, I'm probably gonna go Warriors in 6. Same thing I said when we had around Easter time with some family. I said the Lakers weren't gonna be able to beat Minnesota at that point, and then I said the best thing that ever happened to Golden State was them losing to the Clippers at the regular season because of the seeding in the brackets. And I think this would be their best chance to get back to the conference finals. So I'll probably go as of right now, I'll probably go Warriors in 6 against Timberwolves. And if the Rockets manage to win tomorrow night, I have Wolves beating the Rockets. How many games? I'll say 7. Because again, that Houston defense, I get that they're not experienced, but they're young. They are young. They can take a bump and get right back up. Golden State, they're a little older. Plus Curry's thumb, he hurt it again, but he's been playing through it with it banged up throughout the whole series. You don't know how everyone's banged up at this time of the year, but the reason why I said Golden State in 6 opposed to 7 like Houston is because of how their offensive scheme is played and how they can kind of make Minnesota work for some of those work on defense, something that Houston doesn't really do necessarily in that style and scheme. So that'll be my my predictions as of now. That can change come the start of the second round before we do it. But as of now, those are my picks.
I got OKC. If Denver wins, I got OKC in 6. If the Clippers win, I got Clippers being OKC in 7. And then I already know I'm going Golden State's winning. So I got in Golden State and Minnesota. I got Golden State in 7.
Lou, you gave your picks already?
No, I don't think. But yeah, I got OKC coming out on top against any team they play against. As far as the Wolves, like I said, I just don't think that if the Rockets make it, they're gonna have the gas to go another 7 games. Given how hard fought this series was, but I think just because of the momentum swing that the Wolves are on as well, I think they go in 6 if it goes. And with the Warriors, I think it goes in 7, possibly 5 though, depending on how the Warriors come out swinging. Because like you said, they're big on settling just the jump shots after a while, and as you can see, like last night, the Rockets took advantage of those jump shots and went up by almost 20 in the fourth, to the point where it was just like, all right, we know this game is over. It was like 4 minutes left, and they were up by like 17. And we was like, at that point, you like, all right, this game is over with. Even if it's 4 minutes left, that's a lot of time, but it's just like, nah. So I think if the Warriors come out on that slump with the Wolves are going to eat them alive. Pause. I got Boston beating the Knicks, and then hopefully I'm gonna go with underdogs. I'm gonna say Indiana takes over Cleveland. So those are my picks.
Cool. Real quick before we get out of here, Musa, what's the lineup we got? I know we got a doubleheader going today.
Oh, yeah, my bad. Yeah, so we're doing the wrestling podcast episode today at 6:25. We're gonna give our early predictions for the Backlash pay-per-view coming up next weekend. Talk about some different storylines coming up, a potential solo Jacob feud. And then tomorrow at 1:20, we're gonna talk about the NFL draft, the recap, some of our winners, losers of the draft, probably do early predictions on the division winners, who we think is going to come out early, predictions and things like that. So the football pick 6 episode will be tomorrow at 1:25, and we have the Grade A Wrestling podcast today at 6:25.
Cool. Make sure y'all tune into those episodes, man. Make sure y'all continue to like the channel, leave comments. We appreciate everybody that tuned in today. Enjoy the playoffs, man. Round 2 kicks off. Go ahead, Lou.
I just want to say shout out to the WNBA. They did their preseason debut yesterday.
Thank you, Lou. I almost forgot about that.
Yeah, can't forget about our ladies too, man.
We gonna talk about that too, man.
And we also seen Paige Becker's debut with the Dallas Wings, and you know they got torch. They still have so much promise and potential. So shout out to the WNBA for coming back as well.
Yep.
Shout
and
out to
for
the
those
W.
who aren't aware, the regular season starts May 12th. So.
Shout out to Greg Popovich, man. It's been a good season, a good role, man.
Facts.
Yes, sir.
Beautiful career, man.
We appreciate everybody being here, man. Make sure y'all like and subscribe to the channel. Y'all take care. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the NBA playoffs round 2, baby. We out.
See y'all soon.
Best time of the year.
Grade A. Hey, run that thing up.